Hello, I'm Michael van Gerwen. Welcome to Behind the Bar with Paul Starr.
Welcome Behind the Bar, Paul Starr, brought to you by Winmau, the proud sponsor of the World Darts Championship. We're on location at Winmau, and please stay tuned for the rest of the show because there's a chance for you to win a Winmau Blade 4 dual-core dartboard. Do you like that? Yeah, at the end of the show, so keep tuned. Steve Brown, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
So Steve, the week of darts, the European Darts Grand Prix in the final. Kim Huybrechts, he has now won his second European Tour, his final European Tour of the year, beat Peter Wright 6-5 in the final. Checkouts throughout the match included 116, 161, 140 and 157. So Kim Huybrechts up to world's number 10.
Yeah, like you said, he was 5-2 down. I just think he showed his mettle recently. I said he started the year off, you know, a bit of a shaky start of the year, but just when it's the right time to play well is the end of the year, and I think Kim's coming to some great form.
He is, and of course Peter Wright, he keeps churning out these results and making the final, and rumour has it, new set of darts on Thursday, and on the Friday, 18 times he went back-to-back 180s, so back-to-back, you know, so 36 180s there, but 2 on the trot include, that's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good, yeah, but I think Peter's one of those players that he can chop and change his setup all the time, and doesn't really seem to affect his confidence, but, you know, that's very rare.
Just chop and change his darts just as much as he does his hair.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah.
That's it. A couple of things I've always got to mention, Steve, in the tournament. Mensah Suljovic. Mensah, I mean, he... first of all, people I think you know, he's a handy player, but, you know, he's a little bit slower, and that's what was maybe putting players off, but he's far more than that, isn't he? Because he actually averaged 110, beat Michael van Gerwen 6-4, who averaged 111. Yeah,
a lot of players on the circuit know that, you know, for the last sort of 12 months or so, Mensah's been putting in some really good performances on the floor, and a lot of us said, I know he's been working really hard for the last 18 months, and he's just seeing he's reaping the rewards now.
Yeah, and also another result to mention, Joe Cullen with 110 average beat Barney averaging 111, 6-2. So 111s may not be good enough anymore. That's
incredible, and again, that's great for Joe. I know he struggled with confidence for the last probably 18 months. Yeah. So for him, I think that's a bit of light in the tunnel for him.
Great stuff. PDC Development Tour, Wigan final 4 events. 2 wins for Bradley Kirk from Southampton, Sven Groen and Dean Reynolds. So that good work for those guys. And now Steve, big weekend, as you mentioned earlier on, so important this time of the year, all these tournaments coming out, and of course the rankings, because we have Friday, we have the Grand Slam of Darts qualifier, 8 places up for grabs. You're going to that one?
Yeah, I'm going to that. Yeah, I've seen the list yesterday. I think there's about 200 players on the list. So again, it's not going to be an easy night's work, but very profitable for 8 players. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course 3 matches on TV in the group stages, the round robin group stage if you make it. So best of luck at that. And of course, followed on the same day the World Series of Darts finals qualifiers. So good day, Steve. Come on.
Well, I said, you know, potentially two massive tournaments to qualify for, yeah.
Yeah, and then the final Pro Tours, of course, with the rankings then for the Players' Championship, but then Saturday and Sunday. In fact, we'll be there on Saturday in Coventry, so make sure you tune into the recent videos on Tunks and Tails. So, Steve, that's 3 massive days, and then it could set you up then, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, but I said it's the last weekend of the year in terms of the Pro Tours, so again, you know, there'll be a lot of people that are looking at their rankings and trying to get into TV events and the World Championships. So, yeah, all to play for.
Earlier on in the show, I said there was a chance of winning a Winmau Blade 4 dual-core dartboard. Steve Brown, what's the question?
Earlier on in the show, Paul mentioned Peter Wright had a new set of darts. How many times did Paul say that Peter Wright hit back-to-back 180s?
Back-to-back 180s, yeah, the answer's there. Don't forget, comment on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Tunks and Tails with a chance of winning one of the Blade 4 dual-core dartboards. We have Simon Hall, Head of Marketing. How you doing, Simon?
Very well, thanks, Paul. Pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, behind the bar, but no alcohol, unfortunately.
No, we had all that last week at the Masters. So.
Good. Hey, mentioning the Masters, hey, what a tournament that was. I mean, over 1,000 competitors. How was it from your side of view being sponsors?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. It couldn't have been any better from a player perspective, from a fan's perspective. It's the oldest major in the whole of the World Diary since 1974, I believe. As you say, 1,000 entrants. One of the qualifiers went all the way through to the final, which Larry Butler.
Great.
There was a wonderful subplot running all the way through that men's tournament, because Ted Hankey, who had the last spot, if Larry had won the Masters, he would have put Ted out. So that added a great spice. But in amongst all that, there were some absolutely phenomenal darts on both the men and the women's side. And the feedback we've had from the viewing public is that it was just phenomenal stuff to watch. I mean, you have to Martin Phillips and Glenn Durant, their quarterfinal.
Brilliant.
Glenn averaged over 100. He won 3-1, but Martin was sat on 40, ready. And then we moved on, and a game I think you enjoyed was Eileen de Graaf and Lisa Ashton.
True. I mean, I spoke to Richard Ashton on last week's show, and Hugh Ware about that. I mean, the 1-7-1, 1-3-2 checkout, including a couple of bullseyes. Start the next leg with 180. But you lose the leg and then lose the match. I mean, the standard of ladies darts is phenomenal at the moment.
It is, yeah. And Eileen's been playing great darts for the last 12 months, really. But it seems that they've all been pulling each other along, and they're not there to make up the numbers. And the standard, as you say, is fantastic. So then you went into the semi-finals. Larry Butler's creating against Martin Adams. Martin Adams is, I think he was 4-3 down, darts against him, 1-2-1 left, stay in the World Masters.
He
takes it out. I mean, it was just, it couldn't have been. And the final, Glenn steamrolled him really at 7-3, but that's testament to how well Glenn's playing. Yeah. I mean, he's a top class player.
He's been great all year, winning lots of tournaments. Unbelievably, his first major, Glenn's first major, but hey, not a bad way to go about it. Say 7-3 win there, and
well, it was last year was Martin Phillips' first major as well.
So and he's been about for so long, and of course it all moves on into the World Championship now with the seeding in different things. Like obviously, number 1 seed is Glenn, but hey, that's an open competition, isn't it? Yeah,
they all are, and I think that's the beauty of the BDO system is someone can come from left field, storm a tournament, and go with a win. I mean, Glenn's got to play Dean Reynolds. Dean Reynolds, for those who know him, he's been steaming up the rankings this year. He's young, very focused, and so Glenn's got a tough draw. So it's the Lakeside. You've got Scott Mitchell in good form. Scott Waits is showing good form again. Martin Phillips is in good form. Martin Atkins, he's an outsider. Martin Adams. He's back in great form as well. So, but the Lakeside stage is something you need to get used to. Now Glenn's got a title under his belt. I think he'll be this time going in more comfortable.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Scott Mitchell at the weekend, he said it. Few of the guys are gunning for him being world champion. He's got that trophy, and of course, taking out the world champion in any tournament. And he's finding it, not saying not tough, but it is a having that title on your back.
Different mentality
shootout,
now,
isn't it?
Yeah. Sort of poacher turned gamekeeper.
Very, very much so. Of course, everyone's over now in Turkey for the World Cup after the Turkish Open. So it's all building up to climate, as I say, at the start of next year.
It is, and we're very much looking forward to Lakeside.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Tunks and Tells, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And don't forget, we will be coming from the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. Players' Championship number 19 we'll be covering, so next week's show will include videos from there. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and join us next week on more Behind the Bar, brought to you by William Hill, the proud sponsor of the World Darts Championship. We'll see you then.